Hello, welcome to the video. What I'd like to do in this video today is kind of take you on a ride with me as I modify my Yamaha Revstar RS620. This is an older model. I think there's some variations to the newer models, but this is probably the midline in the Revstar series. I really like the guitar. I like the playability of it, the feel of it. It's got a good sound as long as it's at max volume, and I don't always want the guitar at max volume, but it has a good sound. It gets really dark to me whenever I go down to mid volume or even an eighth. So if I had numbers on the volume knob, if I was at 8, the tone would go drastically darker than if I'm at max volume. So the project that we're going to go through is to update this electronics or modify the electronics in this body to match what I have in a friend of mine's Les Paul guitar to see if I can get a similar sound. The project that I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this pot and this pot, both with 500K dual concentric pots. They're stacked. And so there'll be two 500K pots here, two 500K pots here, two knobs here, two knobs here. The volume knobs will adjust independently, bridge and neck. The tone knob will adjust independently, bridge and neck. The selector switch will stay the same. Right now, the way this guitar is configured, these pickups are wired directly to the selector switch, and then they go to the control knobs. The Gibson wiring does exactly the opposite. So I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to bring these directly to the volume knob, and then from there to the tone knob, and then to the selector switch, and then to the output. So I've got to do some reconfiguring with the wiring. I won't show a lot of that soldering and all that. This is more about understanding of what I'm doing, a comparison of the two guitars and the sound, so I can show you a before and after and show you a comparison between the two. And again, I'm not trying to compare this guitar to a Gibson Les Paul. Gibson Les Paul is an awesome guitar. This will never be a Gibson Les Paul, but this is an awesome guitar. Okay, I believe this is a 250K ohm pot, a single, and this is a 500K ohm pot single. And I think when I change this to a 500K, this is going to make most of the difference by changing it to 500K. The guitar that I'm comparing this against is a Gibson Les Paul Deluxe. Deluxe had mini humbuckers. They were brighter than regular PAFs. This particular guitar has been modified. It's not original. It has had a PAF style pickup put in it, not a actual PAF. This is not a vintage pickup. And obviously it's got a two-piece bridge or a tailpiece on it. So it's just a different guitar. It's got full mahogany body, not pancaked, full piece mahogany for a top. Just a really nice guitar. So let's take just a moment and we will listen to the two guitars and see what we have. I'm going to play a little bit of a song called Vincent. I've got it tuned to an open G. Sounds like that. And the first, second, and third strings, they're all the same. Nothing's changed. The A string is down a full step or 2 frets. And the E string is down a full step or 2 frets. And that gives me an open G tuning. And so at full volume, this guitar sounds like this. Obviously a little bit bright, but just for demonstration purposes, tone is at max. Now I'm going to bring that guitar down to 5, and we're going to try it again. learn the mistakes. But that guitar sounds good at full volume, at half volume. It hasn't lost its frequency, high frequency content. So the high frequency content is still there, still sounds very good as I roll the volume down. Let's compare that against the Yamaha Revstar. And again, we're playing in the center position, both pickups combined. More mistakes, more mistakes. All right, now I'm going to bring that volume back just an eighth, and just to see what it sounds like if I drop it an eighth of a turn, just a 8. All right, here we go. You hear the difference? Here's an eighth of a turn back. Now you may be saying, well, I like that tone better. That sounds much better than it being real bright. It's too chimey, too bright. But what I'm losing is I'm losing the feel, the touch responsiveness, the liveliness of the guitar when that happens. Now, if I take this back to 50%, which is right there, about a 5, then this is what I get. And so there is the difference between the two. Again, I crank it all the way. And I get all the frequency that these two pickups are putting out. So again, the object of this video is to compare and to modify my Yamaha Revstar. Make its electronics portion similar to a Gibson Les Paul. I'll show you a little bit of soldering. We'll talk about circuits as well. I'll show you the circuits. And one other thing, just for giggles and grins, I'm using a Boss Katana 50 Mark II with my own custom preset in it that is supposed to emulate Princeton. Doesn't exactly emulate it, but it gets close enough for my purposes. So I'm going straight into that amp. That's all it is, and I'll show you the amp settings for that particular patch that I have. Okay, so let's look at the control cavity of the guitar and just kind of look at the circuit real quick. This is the output wire right here, this gray wire. And currently the output wire is tied, this is the volume pot, this is the tone pot and switch, and here is your switch. This is the dry switch, and here is your three-way selector switch. Now, I've got this pulled apart. The black wire here is the wire that goes to one of your pickups. The gray wire, I believe the black wire is the, let's see, I believe the black wire is the bridge pickup and the gray wire is the neck pickup, and the big gray wire. And then you got some black wires which go to your bridge pickup and your neck pickup ground, and then there's a ground that comes back from the bridge, the bridge down here itself. The blue wire is just a connecting wire. It's a coaxial type wire between the tone pot and the volume pot. So basically what happens is these two are grounded here at this switch, and The bridge is wired back here. The center is going to this this output wire that is this white one that goes over to the tone pot, and then the top one goes to the neck pickup. So that is the configuration. This is a 500K. This is a 250K with a switch. Here are my parts. I'm going to be replacing it with, you'll see that's dual concentric. So this knob will turn and this shaft will turn to control this. The top knob controls this potentiometer. This outside sleeve will turn and it'll control this. You can tell that the threads only go up so far on the shaft, and this is independent of that thread shaft. So it turns as well as the center post turns. And that'll be for the volume, and this will be for, actually I think this is a B, this is a linear. I'm going to try this. This is the same way. It's two potentiometers. There's a control shaft there, control shaft there. I think I'm going to use this one for volume and this one for tone. This one is definitely audio taper. You can see, I think you should be able to see that right there. It says A500K. And on this one, I'm not sure you can see it, but that should say B500K right there. And then I'm going to use these control knobs will sit like that. So that's the theory. Actually, they'll sit more like that. That's the theory. Okay, so here's the Boss Katana 100 Mark II software. It's going into I think it's a 50 Mark II. But I just wanted to show you the patch that I'm using, just so you'll kind of have an idea of what the reference is. So if I click the chain here, I'm using the what I call Princeton Clean. Whether it's Princeton or not, I don't know. I'm using chain 3 where my equalizer is beyond my effects before I get into the delay and reverb, and then it goes to the speaker simulation. So that's the chain I'm using. I do have a treble boost on it if I want to use it, but it's never engaged. I do have, as you can see, delay, reverb engaged. The delay is about 103 millisecond. Got a high cut of 4 kilohertz, effects level 61, direct mix of 100. It's a regular digital delay. I also have a reverb that is a plate reverb, 3.6 seconds reverb time, 78 milliseconds delay time, low cut 400 hertz, high cut 4 kilohertz, density 5, effect level 66, direct mix 100. As you can see, my gain is at 96 here. My volume is at 79. Bass is 51, 50-50. That's pretty much flat all the way across. Delay is about 37. Reverb is about 49. Presence 48. I do have the contour set to contour 2. And where I really get my my tone from is I have the EQ, the global EQ, output EQ set on this, and you'll see that I've got the 31 hertz is set for -6.5 dB, 62 hertz is set for -5, and you can see what I'm rolling off the bass there because Princeton had a small cone speaker in it, so I rolled off the bass a little bit. I dropped the mid-range just a little bit, -1.5, -5, and then I raised the treble a bit, and even some of the mid-range, 2 kilohertz, 4 kilohertz. raised that a little bit, but particularly on the high end, I raised that just a little bit, just to get the what I think was a good Princeton tone for this particular amp. And that's pretty much what I did. Of course, I'm using clean with no variation. So I'm using the clean tone with no variation, and then those settings, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so we want to look at the two schematics that we have. Here is the original schematic for the Yamaha RS620, as I figured it out by looking at the guitar itself. So the covers on the bridge and the neck pickup are grounded at the first pot, which is well, I say at the first pot, they're grounded at the volume pot. It's not really the first pot in the chain, but they're grounded on the volume pot. But those are grounded, and the coaxes are grounded as well, coming from the neck and the bridge pickup. Now, the first place the coaxes go, they're grounded at the three-position switch. Three-position switch is you've got an empty pole, but you've got these jumpers that go here, and basically the idea as these are ganged, they'll be in this position, position 1, or this position, position 2, or this position, position 3. And in either one of those positions, if you're in position 1, you'll see there's nothing here, but yet there's a wire here. This takes it to the output, so the bridge in position 1 is you're going to your volume tone stack. When this comes down to position 2, then it will select both bridge and neck pickup, because neck pickup is going to this pin. And when it comes down to position 3, which is closer to toward the neck, you will have the neck pickup going to the tone volume stack. Now, as you come off of this three-position switch, so one thing that you need to notice there is the neck and the bridge pickup go to the switch first. And if you look at the classic Gibson wiring, the switch is on the output side, not on the input side, so that when you pull the two together, you've got electronics between the two, and the wire coming off of the bridge pickup never touches the wire coming off of the neck pickup. It actually goes through a potentiometer. Now, if the potentiometer is all the way up, theoretically it is touching, but it does affect the way the tone works. Now, back to the original diagram. So this is the original diagram again. And you'll notice is that instead of coming off of the neck and bridge pickup and going to potentiometer, that then goes to tone pots, that then goes to a switch that goes to the output, we're coming through the switch. The switch directly will tie both in the middle position, both neck and bridge pickup together. They're paralleled at that point, and that would mean that their impedance is basically halved. So it is going to change the way that it sounds going into the amp for sure in that particular arrangement. Now, all guitars or a lot of guitars do that. So is that a bad thing? Not really, but it does have an effect. So coming in here, the coax is grounded, of course. You're coming to a double pole, double throw switch. That is the dry switch. And when it's engaged, you have a 330 and a 330 picofarad, 330 k ohm resistor that's in that line. You have a tone pot to ground with a 0.022 microfarad cap, and you have on the output of the double pole double throw switch, you have coax that's grounded at the volume pot. Coming into the volume pot, 500 k ohm volume pot single, and then you have the output coax going to the output. Now, on the other schematic, which is the 50s style, this is what I modified to. This is the schematic I used to modify my guitar. And so I made it just like this. So the bridge and the neck pickup come off, they go to a 500K ohm pot. They go out to a tone pot that then goes to ground through a .022 microfarad cap, and then that goes to the switch. The three-way switch then comes out and goes to the output. This is very simple. The Yamaha diagram is a little bit more complex, but it is a good. But both are good. I think that the Gibson one for me made the guitar a little bit more lively, a little bit just had a better touch sensitivity, feel, everything. Okay, so this is the circuit that I'm going to be putting in the guitar. This and one of the interesting things about a concentric pot, the center knob, which is your top knob, which should be the bridge, that's going to be the bridge tone, bridge volume, is the bottom pot as you wire it, because the shaft goes through the center and gets to the bottom, and the concentric control here goes to the top pot. So this will be bridge, this will be neck, this will be bridge, this will be neck. These are my capacitors. I put a wire or a insulator here to keep the capacitors from touching, and they're wired straight across. The tone pot here, you wire your capacitors to the outside leg, and in the middle leg is generally grounded, and then that will come back to ground to the switch. These will go, these are your outputs to your switch. So it goes from, we'll bring in to here, and here we'll bring in on this lug here, and this lug here, we'll bring in the bridge pickup to here, and we'll bring in the neck pickup to here, and that's tied over to the neck pickup here, or the neck tone here, and the neck tone there, and that'll come over to ground. Your two outputs for your wiper are in the middle, and those will go, obviously we've got the white one is going to be the neck, or the bridge. The white one's going to be the bridge, and the blue one's going to be the neck. And then we'll just pull our grounds to this pot, and we'll have to add one ground from here to the switch. These will be grounding the switch. You want to make sure that you really only have one single path for your ground. You don't want to set up ground loops, so you have to be careful if you try to connect both ends of your shield. So you just want to make sure we do that. That's pretty much ready to go into the guitar. A couple of touch-ups, but we should be good. Okay, so here is the finished wiring. Again, I have my volume pot here. I have my tone pot is here. And this is my three-way selector switch. Wiring's a little bit difficult, but you can see under here, you can see where possibly see where the capacitors are. Everything seems to be working fine, and this is what the knobs look like. They're stacked, as you can tell, and actually it doesn't look too bad. I'm impressed. We'll have to see how it sounds and see what difference just the change of control knobs and the change of the circuit diagram itself makes. But I believe it's going to make quite a bit of difference. So next up, we'll listen to the two guitars and see what we got. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a quick look at the final product. I didn't tie wrap the wires up there, but you can see down in here, you can see the pot, and it's hard to see over there, but it's a dual stacked pot. You can see it up under there. Trying to get it in focus here, but that's the back side, and this is the front side. There are the two concentric pots, volume and tone over here. And if I look down on the guitar, that's about what you would see. It's not standing too proud, but it is definitely higher than your other than your original knobs. Okay, this is both pickups, front and back, and this is in the middle position, so both pickups and volume at 100%. Here it is back about 80%. Notice how the tone stayed about the same. I didn't lose hardly any high frequency content. Back at 50%. And that's at 50% there. So let's compare that against the Gibson. Same amp settings. And we'll see how that works. I know, again, you're not supposed to do that. That's terrible. I don't care. Tone was all the way up. Tone's all the way up on this. I'm on 10. And here's the same thing. Mistake, you can tell this guitar, irregardless, is going to sound different than the Revstar. It's in the pickups. I'm not going to change the pickups. I actually like the pickups on the Revstar the way they are. So now we're going to go down in tone to about 80%. there it is, mistakes and all. Sorry about the mistakes, but I really like it. It's very responsive, sounds great, has a good tone, gives me 2 stacks of knobs that I can play with, double cutaway that I wanted, and a really good neck. So I like it. I like the RS Revstar series. Really good guitars. I just wanted mine a little bit different. Not everybody wants that. Not everybody need the same. Not everyone will get the same mileage. If you're into really high gain, you might not want to do it. But if you're like me, an oldie goldie, a boomer, and you like the old rock style, you'll probably be good with it. Thanks for watching.